Have you ever heard yourself saying, not again, I can't believe I'm here again, I can't believe this is happening to me again, no, no, not again, I can't believe this, are you kidding me? No. Yeah, well, if you ever said those words, you probably are wondering why. Why do these things keep happening over and over again? Like, what kind of treadmill are you on? A never-ending one? Like, where's the stop button? How do we rewind? How do we stop this from going on and occurring over and over again? Many people are frustrated with their lives and this cyclical process of seeing the same thing showing up over and over again, going through the same challenges in relationships, with family, in jobs, dating, what have you, financially, physically, same things showing up over and over again. There is a reason why that's happening. About 15 years ago, I created the WIS Wellness Assessment. This is the Wellness Improvement System. And it's an assessment. What you see here, this assessment looks at 9 dimensions of life. So most places they will tell you that, you only look at the spiritual, the physical, and the social. We have 9 dimensions in our life. So we look at spiritual, we look at social, we look at emotional, we look at occupational, we look at intellectual, we look at environmental, we look at financial, we look at physical, and at the core of it is the interpersonal. And what you see written in there are some of the key life areas that are embedded into these dimensions, that when we are not paying attention to them, they create obstacles in our lives, and things happen that pop out and bite us or confuse us or block us or create roadblocks in our life and prevent us from getting those things that we desire or not being as successful as we could have been. And that's why I created this assessment. Over the last 20 years, I have facilitated workshops, I've taught university, college, I've studied a lot of things. I've written 5 books, I have a master's degree, I have read a lot. And I will tell you, one book changed my life when I was 20. I read Norman Vincent Peale's book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And that book changed my young mind. I think I was about 20 when I read that book. And I set an intention then to pay attention to my life and my thoughts and what I was going to create in my life. It's very interesting because I didn't grow up, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I grew up with a mother who has chronic depression, and you know what happens with depression. It was always up and down, never quite sure which side of the moon she's on. We were 4 of us, single mom. My dad was an alcoholic. He left. I didn't grow up with him. We barely get child support. Child support was if he happened to be sober on payday, which was his favorite drinking day, so we hardly ever got child support. So things were tough. I grew up we had barely enough to eat and drink. We didn't have luxuries. I didn't see a role model of good marriage, healthy family. I grew up in dysfunction. And when I read that book, I decided that I wanted to create a stable, different kind of life for myself. And I've been very, very purposeful and intentional and very blessed and favored. I've had a very good marriage, an amazing partnership with my husband. We have amazing adult children that grew up into just the most amazing people that I not just love as their mother, but I like being with. And that is not always the case. I've run my business for 20 years. I've created programs, I've written books, I've designed models, and this, I will tell you, is one of the models that I think is one of the most precious to me because it's how I live my life. And I only brought this through to the world 15 years ago, but it was in me all the time. I lived by this. I paid attention to my life. I watched who I brought into my life. I was very, very, very purposeful and intentional with my interactions, with where I spend my time, what I watch, what I read, what I do. All because this was imprinted in my being. And 15 years ago, I decided to give birth to it and put it into a format where others can see it and learn from it. And thousands of people have used this model, and I've had lots of feedback. So what I have decided to do this year is to provide it to even more people. I want millions of people to have the opportunity to create their life and use this roadmap as much as possible to create something that works for them. And you don't have to live by this, but it may be the one that sets you on the path to creating your own roadmap. I want you to have the best life possible. I want you to be able to share your story and to create something else to share with others. I want you to be able to share your story one day and to create something that you can share with others one day, because this is what I was able to do. All of us have the ability within us to be more than we can be. But what happens is that we get distracted. We get focused on other things. There's so much information out there, and so many things that pull on our time. And so we get distracted and we don't pay attention to how we're living our life, the choices we're making. And that's what happens. Then we get on a treadmill. Our life becomes treadmill-like. So we're always trying to catch up. Or the same things happen to us over and over again. And we don't take the time to learn because we're not looking at the right things. We're probably only looking at 4 dimensions and the other 5 are not getting attention. So I want to grab your attention and get you focused on your life. Because let's face it, everybody has these dimensions. You know the only place I don't teach this is at the cemetery. You know why? Because they're dead. Yes, they don't have these life dimensions. If you're living and you have breath, you have these dimensions in your life, and you need to pay attention as to what's in the way of the issues you're having. As we go through the other 3 videos that I share, I will talk then about the levels of wellness, and I've helped you in the other videos to learn more about the different levels and how to interpret them and what you can find. That is very, very important. So if you, after you've downloaded this here on my website and you go and do your assessment, I want you to leave me a comment. Tell me what you're going to measure. Tell me which dimension you're more excited to measure. And tell me, if you feel free to tell me why you're excited about assessing your life. Because you know what? Everything starts with awareness. That which we don't know controls us. If you don't know that there is something here tripping you up in your intellectual or emotional dimension, you will keep working so hard and you'll keep trying all things and not dealing with the real problem. So a lot of wasted effort. Why I like this assessment is that it gives us focus. Bam, that's the problem. Let's deal with it. So you're not all day wondering and refocusing, oh, what's going to happen or what should I be doing? No, let's find out what the problem is and let's deal with it. We can be purposeful, intentional, results. I'm a results-oriented person. And I think that's how I live my life, and that's one of the reasons why I created this. Every time I do a keynote, every time I do a seminar or I speak at a conference or do a workshop or a webinar, people come up to me after and say, Joyce, you know, my mom or my sister, I want to take for my wife or my girlfriend. Or this. I give them this. So what I've done is put the model into this little chart so you can actually break it up and assess 5 key life areas in each dimension. And in subsequent videos, I talk about why only 5 and so forth. So you will learn that. If you want more information, you can watch the 3 additional videos. This is phenomenal because I live by it. It sits on my vision board. Every day I wake up, I check in with it. Because I don't have another roadmap. I don't have this perfect family history to fall back on. It's like, oh, my mom did this with my dad. I don't. I am the roadmap. I am the role model for my children. And hopefully for my grandchildren one day and great-grandchildren. I want to change. My goal was to break the cycle. Create a whole new structure, new family life cycle. And set a new target that my children and grandchildren can aspire to. And that's why I live the life. Very purposeful. Live the life that I do. And you can do that too. You can, I don't care where you are, what life cycle, what your parents do, what you grow up in, what your life situation is, you can change it and create the life you want. I call it the WISLIFE. This is the WISLIFE assessment. I call it the WISLIFE. I'm about creating WISLIFE. And I wanted to take time and share this with you. Because if you are not liking what's showing up at work, at home, in your relationship with your in-laws, with your spouse, you know what it's worth. I don't know. I can't tell you what this is worth to you. You know what it's worth to you to have peace at home. You know what it's worth to you to have a good, happy marriage with a partner that respects you and loves you and cherishes you. You know what it's worth to you to date people who appreciate and value you. You know what it's worth to you to have good working relationships, great relationships with your teenagers, your adult children, your siblings, parents, if they're alive. You alone know what it's worth to you. So if it's worth something to you, then get the assessment, complete it, start looking at what are those things, and let's uproot them. If you need more information, you need more resources, check out the next 3 videos and learn. And I want you to leave me a comment. Tell me why you downloaded the assessment. Tell me once you've done it, come back and tell me what you've seen, what you became aware of. People tell me things like, oh Joyce, you know what? I'm happy with my score. These areas are not important to me. And that's good. There are things that are not important to you based on your values. But the things that are important to you, you need to bring them up to the surface, pay attention to them, and keep them at your conscious. Because you know what? Our subconscious rules. 70 to 90% of what we do is led by our subconscious. So we're not always conscious of what's motivating our action, motivating our thoughts, motivating our behavior. On the line, that iceberg, are some of the key life areas, the values, the beliefs, the intentions, and the key life choices we're making. So this helps you to make better choices, to be more purposeful, more impactful, more results-oriented in your life. So you don't have to wake up one day and say, man, I can't believe I'm 50 or 60 and I'm still going through this. You got to wake up one day and say, I am so glad I started. Because you start today, then you can change tomorrow. But if you keep waiting, then tomorrow will be just a reflection of today. So you start today. Take the assessment. See what's coming up for you, what you need to start paying attention to, what you need to start changing. Look at the other videos. Learn more. Get some added tips, some encouragement. You're not alone. Millions of people are going through what you're going through. But you are the only one who can take the step to change your reality. I'm Joyce Odidison at joyceodidison.com, and I'm so glad you're here. I want you to create the best life you can. I want you to have what I call the WISLIFE. Be a whiz at your life. It's your life. You have one chance to do it. Go ahead and do it. I challenge you. I appreciate you. Lots of love. Thank you for being here. And I can't wait to hear your comments and how you find the WISLIFE assessment. Take care and be well. Bye now.